And we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond Retro's episode 69. Actually, 66. I just thought I'd just mess with Nathan there. He gets
Great.
fixated on these numbers here.
Whatever. Anyway,
I'm Tyler Baker, Nathan Kennedy, Rotten Amato, Joe Amatos. We're all here today to celebrate the joys and wonder of Mr. Black Dynamite.
well, one of the best kind of a parody homage films, dare I say. But man, I remember the first time watching this, hearing about it, seeing I want to say that there was a trailer, but before the DVD Blu-ray release, it had a limited theatrical run. But in between there, me being me, I obtained a copy of it beforehand and sat down and watched it and was just blown away. Just laughing. I probably haven't laughed at a movie since this that much. Honestly, it just perfect, top to bottom, ridiculous story that just escalates and escalates, but also just showing you and appreciating, like, hey man, these films from the 70s are just, I love that genre. Joe, I know Joe is a fan of soul cinema and blaxploitation films. Joe, when was the first time that you watched this? Because Tyler, it was not short after I watched it. I'm like, oh, here, you got to check it out. Threw it on a flash drive, and either that or I
burned a copy.
I burned him a copy.
Yeah, I think I still got the burned copy here too.
Yeah, but Joe, what was your first experience with Black Dynamite?
When it came on DVD, because I don't remember it being here where I live, coming to theaters, and I looked at that later then too. I was like, well, look how much money is made at the movies, and it was like, yeah, this only made like 200-some thousand. I was like, this don't make sense, and then I find out it was like only in 70 theaters.
Yeah, it played like the major cities, and that was it. Because trust me, I was looking around for it. I was like, where's Black Dynamite?
I guarantee if this movie would have been released, I mean, in a span of like 2,000 some theaters, just like almost other movies, I'm sure it would have made a lot of money. I didn't understand why it was 70 theaters and for only 2 weeks. And it's okay. We love movies like, of course, Naked Gun and stuff, where they're mocking cop movies and stuff and other genres. And that's what this did. It was just mocking a lot of stuff from the 70s, a lot of movies like, Dolomite and others that sometimes things would look corny or mocking, like when you see the boom mic or the bad acting or the focusing coming in and out, and a lot of errors where, like as you see with this with Honeybee, a tear, then no tear, then tear, then no tear, just silly stuff. But I was like, why didn't this go to all the theaters? It's like a cult thing now. It's like I've never met anybody that watched this movie that hated it. Everybody that I've known that watched it loves this damn movie. It's just there's like no flaws to it for me, because some people who didn't see it at first thought this was supposed to be like a serious movie. It's like, no, it's not supposed to be serious. It's spoofing movies from the 70s, just like how Naked Gun would spoof police, movies and shows. And this was just great. Like I said, there's gonna be so many things that we could talk about during it, but I did want to say something first before we talk about that. If we can do a quick side rant, Nathan's lady Emily, she baked me all these cookies. And so I said I was going to try to cook.
Good God, I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah, I think it was three tubs?
3 containers? Jeez.
Yeah, 3 containers are big.
I thought it was just one.
This one's full of snickerdoodles. I'm going to try to, hold on a second.
Yeah, he said he was going to be like eating those on the show today. I was like, all right, well, it can't be any worse than Tyler and his fucking protein bar that one time.
Yeah, Joe probably won't make as much noise as I did.
Yeah.
No. It won't be as much, but the snickerdoodles.
Watch the crumbs fall underneath like his mask there, just dribbling down.
Yeah, it starts just like sticking all over his scarf.
Now I got chocolate chips. These are the ones that I'm wanting to eat the most. Hold on a second. I'm very good. I'm sorry, but they're real good.
It's having a live tasting.
It's real good chocolate chips.
There's something different about her chocolate chip. I think it's what she does with the cookie batter itself. I think she adds like extra ingredients, or it's where I shoved them in my ass before I melt them to you.
Well, it gives a good salty taste, whatever you did to it. But No, they taste like real fancy chocolate chips, real good chocolate chip, but it almost did have like a little salty kick. But thank you, that's good. I'm gonna set these aside. Last ones. Hold on.
Yeah, with those, dude, I like honestly, I don't know what they are either. She had them like sort of in a tube. She made some chocolate concoction and put it like in a tube, and then she was like squeezing it out to like make that pattern. So I know it's really I actually
it looks like it did. Like
oh
shit,
yeah,
you know,
oh, no, you got one of those. I thought it was one of the brown like swirly ones with like the powdered sugar on it.
Well, it is. This is a brown. I don't know what this thing is, but I'm gonna.
Oh, maybe she actually like went in a cookie form with. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know what taste that is. I mean, it's still good, but I can't even describe that. You don't have to ask her what that is. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I don't know either.
Well, tell her I said thank you. But yeah, out of all three of these, like I said, those the snickerdoodles are real good. These are just I don't know what they are, but chocolate chip are my favorite. They're great. Thank you. I'll probably try to finish the chocolate chip today though. But
good God, Joe, that was like 12 or 13 cookies or so in there.
Okay, well, that's good enough to eat the chocolate chip. But please pass that along to Emily. Tell her I said thank you very much for those cookies. I real kind of her. Yeah, the giant box. What the hell is all this? And I see all these containers of cookies. So, thank you.
Well, it was either that or when I went to the post office getting one of those flat rate boxes. And putting it in my own box, even if it was a little bit bigger, and doing that was cheaper than the flat rate box. So I was like, yeah, I don't know why more people don't do that, but yeah, it was just extra boxes, man. I got to get rid of that shit after Christmas.
A lot of cookies up. Again, thank you. And I didn't mean to do a side rant early, but great cookies.
I wouldn't even really call that a side rant. You were just like fucking eating on the show.
Yeah, just had to do it. But thanks. And I don't even know if real quick, we I just want to acknowledge, hold on a second. We have Who Dat Whale, Janish, Grimbot, and might be everybody that's in the chat room. So thank you. No, I don't have any milk, Janish. If I did, I'd be drinking it now because yeah, they definitely get you thirsty. But all right. So if you want, we can try to get back to Black Dynamite.
Well, Joe, as you were talking about, this is a film you said that no one hated. This was a film for me that when I watched it, I had to just let everyone know. So there was a friend of mine. I bought him a copy of it when the Blu-ray came out. Tyler already had a copy. I think you upgraded to what, DVD, or did you get?
I just have DVD. I haven't yet to get Blu-ray yet.
All right, so there were people I worked with. I'm like, you got to watch this movie. You got to watch it. And they're like, what is it? I'm like, I'll buy you a copy of it. And they weren't like Joe. They're like, no, don't do that. Like, oh yeah, I'll be more happy to check it out. Because I don't let people borrow my stuff really, because I hate that, especially when it comes to movies, because people don't know how to take care of discs. But yeah, same as you. Everyone else watched it, loved it. No one has a bad thing to say about this film. And I know Tyler was probably going to say, like, your dad loves this movie.
Yeah. He came over to visit one day, and I said, I was like, you have to check this movie out. And I watched like the first 15 minutes with it. He started laughing immediately. And then he finished it. He said that was a great film. Actually, I think to the point where he watched it a few times by himself because he just enjoyed it. Like, he got it. He got all the jokes and knew what it was supposed to be. And plus, my dad had seen, I think, some of those films back then too. Not a whole lot, or if he, but he just knew what they were going for. And I feel like there's very few people I could recommend a movie like that to that would get it. Like, my brother would get it, my dad would get it, but I couldn't probably think of too many people who might understand what the movie was trying to do. And that's probably why I felt like it was.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was saying that's probably. I mean, obviously, I think it's the main reason why it never got a major theatrical release. It's kind of like with the Grindhouse films themselves, like the two that Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did. Like, they got released in theaters, but I don't think they were like big giant hits.
Yeah, it didn't do that well.
Well, people just don't, and that's what sucks is that you got people who don't get that stuff, and it's just unfortunate that distributors are afraid to put it in mainstream theaters so everyone can at least get a glimpse of it for fear of it's probably just not going to make that much money, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the bummer about it, because here's something that's creative and actually funny, and it's not seen by many people, but it obviously it has been now because it got its own animated series. We got a sort of a sequel successor to it that, man, I forgot all about this. Someone pointed it out when we were doing capes and commentaries. It's like, hey, here's look up, here's the trailer. I remember there being a teaser for it and then just forgot about it. You didn't hear anything? Great. Silly dogs. But the trailer's awesome. I'm going to see what the hell they're up to. So you guys go on from here.
Well, they're probably just getting excited in the whole thought of this damn discussion. But no. Yeah,
where's all the cookies?
Yeah, they're down here. I've been eating a bunch. I'm probably going to eat some more. But, see, the thing is, I can picture, watching this. I'm thinking, you're like me. It's like when we watch Naked Gun. You could go back and I didn't pay attention to that part or that part. Yeah. There's so many of these. I love those little
there
things.
There are so many I mean, hell, even rewatching it again, there was small little sight gags going on too that it's just, and that's what makes it so rich and makes it such a good comedy that will never be dated, even though it's about a period of a film at that point. But that's what makes it so good, is that it's a film you could rewatch so many times. Because most comedies, you watch it once, you pretty much got it. But for a movie like this, like The Naked Gun, it's easy to miss all the stuff going on in the background or faces people are making and stuff like that.
Yeah, and even the stuff that's right in your face. Sometimes you didn't pay attention to, when Honeybee was describing about her nephew, getting, hooked on the drugs or whatever. And, of course, like I said, we talked about the tear that kept switching on, there, gone. But did you notice that, when she smoked on her cigarette and then blew, the cigarette wasn't lit, there was no smoke coming out, and then she coughs? I was dying.
I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, there's so many things. And it was in that little part alone, when she was sitting there talking to Black Dynamite, there was a bunch, of course, then when he stands up out of the shock of everything, and the camera then has to follow him up, and then you see what do you call it, the boom mic or whatever that thing is?
The boom mic.
It's hit his head, he does that slight looking up. But, I mean, just even how the movie starts with one of those corny, ads that is supposed to be for, Anaconda malt liquor. And it's grainy, it's cheesy. But it's stuff, like I said, we remember. Well, I'm not, in the 70s, yeah, they had a lot of corny stuff. I mean, heck, even the 80s, they could have it. But I appreciated how they even filmed this movie, because it felt like it was even filmed like it was done in the 70s, even on a type of film reel. I don't even know how it was done. I don't know if that's effects that made it look that way, or if they really did film this movie in an old type of camera system. Did you know if they did anything?
That's something I've always been curious about myself, because you got films like that and the two Grindhouse films and Kung Fury, where they film it to make it look like a very old beat up print on VHS or something like that. It's one of those details I have never really stopped to take time to actually figure out the filming effect of making it look like it's a very old film. I mean, also when I watched it this time, I was quite fixated on just again all the authenticity of how everything looked like we're plopped right down knee deep in the middle of the 70s. I mean, everything. And that's one of those things too that even this is a spoof comedy, I was just again so impressed with all the attention to detail, from not just the outfits but the cars, the actual exterior sets, when they're on the streets or they're in neighborhoods, it looks just like a 1970s neighborhood or street or diner. I mean, just everything was so authentic. And I just was like, why can't we get that kind of authenticity in a lot of films? I know some films do it, but I almost feel like it's never as authentic as it should be. And Black Dynamite, for a comedy film, they make the film look as authentic as it possibly can, like it really was a film filmed in the 70s.
No, well, then they also actually shot it on film. I'm going to throw out this real quick. It's funny, we have two dog beds in there, and we have both reclining seats. Jasper's sitting on one of the pillows. Jet's on the other pillow, because we're keeping him grounded to hop up and down off the stuff, because he slipped a disc. So Winter, because Jasper took one of the other pillows, doesn't have anywhere to lay, and she only lays on either of those two pillows. And when they're taken, she's just sitting there, and I guess Jasper's being territorial, so I had to get a treat. And I'm like, hey, man, hop over here on the couch. You hop on the couch anyway all the time. Why are you not doing it now? Why you gotta... Who's interrupting my kung fu?
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that something? You got the phone right there.
God.
Talking about what happened.
But no, they actually shot this on film, so it gives it more of that authentic look, and then they processed it digitally. So
Yeah, because I was gonna say Grimbot mentioned that, said it was shot on film. He said only the special effects were done digitally. Probably like when the one guy's head's on fire, the kung fu master at the end. But no, I love the whole the whole feel of it, and even catching just silly things like when you had the militant one of the militant guys, the guy who actually it's Daryl Heath. I don't know if you remember him. He played Toothpick and Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, and I immediately picked up. Do you notice he had a toothpick in his mouth? He must just love that gimmick. But like when he would sit there and he was saying descriptions of what he's supposed to do in the scene, like where it says Militant stands up and turns around, and then Militant, stands there and says something sarcastically, and he's speaking it. He's like, sarcastically, I'm not, or he said something like, sarcastically, I'm in charge. But all he was supposed to say was, I'm in charge, like sarcastic. It's like those little bits. Everything just cracks you up, just makes it work. It makes you laugh to know that every person that's up. And if you look at like Dynamite, like when every time that militant, I don't even know if he had a name. I know he was one of the militant warriors in there. But either way, when he would say this, you'd see Black Dynamite like make a weird look, and then look at the one time he almost like looked at the camera, then look back because like he's thinking like, why are you saying the lines of the description? I don't know if you caught that stuff, but that's just.
Well, I mean, there's hints of that, and then there's also towards the end when one of the guys dies. It's like, who didn't see that come? I mean, wait. Yeah. Where'd that come from? Like the whole touch is like, and I like the introduction to Black Dynamite as well, where you got the three ladies in the bed, and then like he's going to the beat and he's like fucking them and everything, and like, oh, Dynamite, you're so good, and he's like, shh, you wake up the other bitches, and then it's just like more women just sprawled out at the end of the bed and then the floor and everything. I actually, because I have seen the movie countless times, but I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be drunk anyway. So Return of the Drunk Notes.
Okay.
I actually pulled an Emily and fell asleep, but obviously I remember the rest of it. But I do like the part because the whole premise of this is he's wanting to clean up the streets, but also like his brother gets killed, and the whole thing was like I'm trying to remember, was it like his aunt or his grandma?
His aunt calls him.
Yeah, it's like
Jimmy Dad.
It's about but she's like, it's about your brother. And then goes into it. But it's funny because it flashes back. Like, I'm 18-year-old Dynamite talking to my 15-year-old brother, Jimmy, you got to stay off the drugs. It's just little touches like that oh man. And then a lot of the one-liners too that are sexually fused. It's like the one where it's like the lady's like, I get off in about 15. And he's like, you're right about that shit. Like it just all that stuff is fantastic. And then who can forget Cream Corn, one of our favorites. I'm running things. Yeah. Just good stuff.
Oh man. You can see us. That's my favorite. Tommy Davidson saying is him bitching at the waitress about what he wants. I always used to try and quote it to Nathan all the time, but it's like there's so many like 2 hot dogs split down the middle twice, bologna skillet. I always picture like this is what Joe orders when he goes to his diner. Like that's an Amato meal. What the Tommy Davidson ordered that.
I can see myself doing that.
I know.
And of course we get to see the creation of Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles because we had chili and donuts at first.
Yeah, chili and donuts, which also was one of the other things too, where the guy in the donut outfit's like about to shoot him, and Dynamite knows. It's like, how'd you know? And he's like, donuts don't wear alligator shoes. Like just little small touches.
And then rolls the dead body out.
To use it as like cover to like shoot the other guys. Jesus.
Yeah. And you even like I said, in the subtle quick things, because when he was there and he was probably going to kill that woman, but Black Dynamite shows up and shot him. And then when he's laying down, you see he's sitting there and he's got an Uzi, he's got a gun with him. Like you didn't see this gun the entire time. And then when he's laying dead, he's got this gigantic gun as he's laying on the ground. It's like those subtle things make it, like you said, even funnier. There's just too many things.
The other thing I have here in my drunk notes is when Dynamite's trying to find his brother's killer, and he goes into like that little pool hall, and they think that he's leaving because he's intimidated, but he flips the sign over. I feel like that's an homage to another film from there.
I've seen it where the Punisher did it on Daredevil, so maybe they got that from Black Dynamite.
Yeah, but I like it when when Bullhorn smacks that one guy, and then he's like, "Motherfucker!" and then it beeps, and there's like just a completely different actor right there. Just fantastic. Like, how does that not make anybody laugh? If you
Yeah,
don't
'cause
laugh
you're
while you're watching this movie and you don't get it, then I feel bad for you, quite honestly,
yeah, because
because
a lot of those
it's
movies, if you
too
remember,
good.
like Dolomite back then, sometimes there would be that obvious stunt guy that came into the scene when something happened and it looked completely different from who it was. I mean that was almost even like in Beverly Hills Cop. Remember when Eddie Murphy, when he threw the guy over that, when they went to, when they were eating in that one diner or whatever, he threw the one guy over the table, and you could see that suddenly this guy was gigantic, and then it's back to being Eddie Murphy. It's like that was obvious. But yeah, a lot of those movies back in the day, there were so many obvious things with those stunt people. But I liked all those little sound effects. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Anytime he was fighting, just the and even the sounds that it made when he punched people. I love that. I wish there was more of that in films today. I want it to be just exaggerated because it makes it sound better. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What did you
Shit.
think of the What about the nunchuck scenes when he's sitting there, he's doing the nunchucks, and he suddenly lost them, and it's still making the sound effects. Then they're thrown back to him, and he's going back to doing the nunchucks.
Oh God. Just all of it. I feel like basically what we're gonna do when talking about this is we're just gonna run down all the favorite parts like I have written here, and I feel like I'm gonna use this to one of the young guys I work with. There's like an 18-year-old kid that works with it, and anytime he starts to talk, I should just be like, "Shut the fuck up when grown folks is talking."
Oh yeah,
Yeah, now that's a lot of that line ought to put anybody in their place. Like that's just a very degrading comment to say to anybody. Like I don't care who you're talking to, even if it's someone older than you that's just getting on your nerves. Like I feel like that's a line that'll put anybody there or piss them off.
Yeah. And then I also have written down. Sorry, I'm just running down through my drunk notes here, but it helps me like really remember everything. When he gets shot, but then he goes to the hospital, and then he's like got the stethoscope on, and then like her top's down, and that doctor comes in. It's like, well, what are you doing? And he's like, man, you sent her in here with them titties. What'd you expect?
And the quick stuff. If you notice, like, remember, it was supposed to be, he got shot and it was clean, went through and went from front to the back, but all you seen was the entry wound. You never seen the exit wound. And of course, then his arms back to normal. But I like when Gloria was sitting there when she was talking with him, and I couldn't remember if that was at the hospital or where, but she was like, "Oh, you one of those guys that just thinks you get by with a wink and a smile." And eventually, he winks at her, and she was like, "What about a smile?" He was like, "I am smiling."
Oh yeah.
Michael's face when he's got that squinted look. I mean, he's got that swagger, charismatic vibe. Just when he just squints those eyes, like right above that mustache. Like I don't know how he does it, but it's just like he knows how to just properly because he does it so. It just makes me laugh. Just watch him squint his eyes when he's observing something, or just thinks I'm dealing with a jive turkey here or something like that. It just his mannerisms. I mean, I was telling Nathan before, like, why hasn't this guy been cast in more
Exactly
good films, not just trash that makes it to the theater? It's not good. Like this guy needs to be carrying more film as a leading man, and not just in comedy, but in action as well. Like he's got the chops, he's got the look.
He would have been a great action star. You're right. I mean, he's a real he does martial arts.
He's the real deal.
Life.
Yeah,
you can see the guy is fit, put together. He wouldn't need a stunt double. You don't even need many special effects to see some of the crazy kicks and stuff he does. This stuff is all done naturally. And yeah, he would have been a perfect action star. And you're right. It's like, what happened? It's like, why did we just get mainly Spawn and nothing really more?
Universal Soldier 2.
Yeah, and I mean, he had his bit part in The Dark Knight, but I'm actually sitting here looking at his filmography, and ever since Black Dynamite, pretty much everything since then, direct to video, like all of it, from 2011 until now, there is a good like 20, maybe a little more credits. It's just all direct to video stuff.
Michael J. White should be Spawn again. Not don't have Jamie Foxx.
God, let's not talk about it. Doomed. It's doomed, man. Yeah, I'm not opposed to bringing Michael Jackson because he looked the part and everything. It's just a bad script, bad dialogue, and it captured the nuts and bolts of Spawn, just executed poorly in PG-13. And I don't. Yeah, Jamie Foxx's Spawn, like no.
Yeah, he doesn't have that look of being a leading action star to me. It's like Michael J. White should still be Spawn again. He has that look, and like I said, I don't know, in his 50s, but he's still amazingly in shape. He could still go a long ways of doing a ton of movies if they would just I don't know. I don't get it.
He doesn't look his age at all.
He doesn't age.
No.
It's like he reached that look probably in like his early 20s. He just, stays that way, just like some actors do.
And I guess how some people say that I have.
Yeah, Nathan's already a testament to that. Like Nathan looked this way in high school, and he will not change. Like,
hey, I'm telling everybody, I'm gonna probably hit about mid-50s, and then I'm just gonna age like 30 years. I'm gonna look like shit. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, come on, Hollywood, cast this guy in more shit. Like,
I want to see him as a modern day. Like, we're gonna go see the Michael Jai White movie. Like you say, the new one. Like you got a poster of him looking like a badass on there. It is a homage to like classic Arnold, Stallone, and Wesley Snipes. So I was like, why isn't Michael Jai White like carrying on the torch that Wesley Snipes or Stallone had?
Was it really a torch from Wesley Snipes to begin with?
Well, at least, you may not like all of his films, but he's got some really good ones. But I'm just, in terms of like just an action hero.
Drop Zone, Passenger 57.
Boiling Point. And
Art of War. You got Blade, obviously, but.
Yeah, but that's the big tip film. But I just feel like he has that look and clearly can carry a film. It just I think he just lacked like we look at Spawn, like the movie just stunk.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
Not from like the visual standpoint, like they got the look of Spawn down, Violator, the sets of Spawn Alley, and everything. All that looked good. It's just bad dialogue. He didn't have Martin Sheen even sucked in the movie. And it's Martin Sheen.
Yeah, the CG doesn't. CG that was the time when they at the time, yes, but it was in that weird phase if they haven't quite nailed it down yet. Between that and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, it's just eesh.
Oh boy,
that time period for CG was just not good.
And both from New Line Cinema.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you guys felt that same way. And I'm sure there's others out there that feel that Michael Jai White should be actually be in theatrical release films, not just straight to video stuff. I just
that's why I wish that Black Dynamite would have been mass theatrically released instead of just this weird 70. I don't understand. I guarantee if that would have been as many theaters as other movies, it would have been.
That's the thing, though. I know it wouldn't, because mainstream audiences don't get it. They don't understand.
Yeah, well, not only that, but this was we're looking at almost 10 years of this movie being out. Even then, at the time, I think if it would have come out and had more attention on it, people would have been like, "Oh my god," because it is very racially driven, like those movies were.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, people would have been offended by it, and which is a shame.
Honestly though, when we've seen a lot of movies where they spoof stuff from the 80s, the 70s, other time periods, and we understand it's spoofing that time period. And I don't think anybody honestly would have freaked out. It's just we understood what we were going to see when it's movies mocking something from a certain period. And anybody that's seen it now, it's like you'd think, especially nowadays, as sensitive as people are about everything, that they hate this movie or freak out, but that's not the case. People I love it, I understand it, I respect it. It's a great movie. I just know it hopefully would have gave him more roles. Like even still, like, aren't they even supposed to be? I don't know if it's coming out, but weren't they making a Black Dynamite 2?
Well, I think Black Dynamite 2 manifested into the film here. I got to scroll down. The Outlaw Johnny Black, because I know that they were wanting to do Black Dynamite, but like in a Western setting. I think maybe this still kind of follows the same rules of maybe Johnny.
It spawned off a cartoon series that's. The cartoon is pretty, that's adult-like, but it's a great cartoon series, too. And that came, of course, after. And it had a couple years. I don't know how many episodes per year, but again, the cartoon was something that I don't think people were hating on the cartoon that seen it.
No, I know that people dug the cartoon, but it's also a niche thing. Like, it was on Adult Swim, so automatically that kind of dictates the audience that you have for it. 2 seasons, 20 episodes. I think you can get the entire run of the animated show kind of cheap. Let's look it up.
Oh, it's on DVD, you mean? Or
you can get season 1 on DVD for about $13 and on Blu-ray for about $22. And it looks like season 2 didn't get any sort of physical release. Looks like that's all just digital.
Oh, gotcha. Because obviously Grimbot said that he felt the animated series lacked the 70s feel. I
watched a couple episodes of it, and the tone's there, but it was maybe I didn't go into it with the right mindset, because to me, Black Dynamite is so good that watching that, I was just kind of just.
Well, Michael J. White, and I think even Tommy Davidson, I think a couple people from the movie still did voices for that cartoon as well. So that was kind of cool that they had some of the voice actors. But yeah, because they definitely, if anything, the place where the one girl worked, that definitely was really offensive title, if you will. That wasn't even in Black Dynamite. Do you remember one of the places that he went into called, I don't even like saying it because it's terrible, but Massa's Chicken? It's a black girl that works at Massa's Chicken, and he wanted to know the secret recipe. Black Dynamite wanted it. She wouldn't tell him. Then they ended up having sex, and as they're having sex, she's screaming out all the rest, the ingredients to the recipe.
I need to go back and rewatch. I feel like I would have a better appreciation for it now than I did then.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't, you got to check it out. We'll go ahead. You can talk some more about the movie, but go ahead.
Well, I think one of the other things I like to quote a lot. Well, we know that Bullhorn talks and rhymes, but then it's also when Black Dynamite starts to say something when he's there, and then one of the ladies pipes in and finishes it, and he's like, "Euphoria, shut the fuck up, and knows you ain't got to look. We take you back to Crenshaw People, this hot ass coat hangers, bitch. You like that?" And she's just like, and just like leaves the scene, and then it goes back to him, and he's still just like aggressively just staring off screen. I like how they do those shots purposely. It happens 2 or 3 times throughout the film where he's just sort of zoned out, just like staring off. I love that. Yeah. God. And then the pimp gathering where Arsenio Hall is there, kind of like talking, and Brian McKnight is there. I must have missed him, or I wasn't paying attention. The singer, R&B singer, is in there, but then and then you have the cameo with Captain Kangaroo of all people.
Yeah, it's really him too. Yeah, I think I love the names too, because I think Arsenio Hall, I think he's like Tasty Freeze, Brian McKnight, I think he was Sweet Meat. Every name they said, I was just.
And then you got Chocolate Giddy Up. I mean, I just all the thought put into it with the silly names and the silly plot, and you go from he's trying to clean the streets up and finding out who killed his brother to this whole other side plot of we got the Anaconda malt liquor, and they're all sitting there trying to. And I
love that revelation, don't you? Out of nowhere,
so much, and it reached a point. It's like Anaconda malt liquor is there to emasculate the black man and make their dicks small. Like, what? All right, where is this gonna go?
And to see the aftermath of what it actually does.
Yes. He's just sitting there and he's like, should we kill him?
I love how they keep focusing on that little prop penis that's just like poking out of his pants, just to see what it's done to Gunsmoke.
That was great. That should we kill him? And then they figure they put him out of his misery. And they shoot him because Anaconda malt liquor gives you a small, because the whole thing how it led to. Remember we were talking
Richard.
about
Gives you a little Richard.
Yeah, talking about those waffles. They just melt in your mouth. He's like, wait.
What else melts in your mouth? M&Ms. Who puts those out? Mars. And then just like.
The Greek gods in Greece. And, oh my God, the way that they got you everything. He's like, yep, and think about this and this and this. And all he gets to is Little Richard. What else goes? Woo! Like Little Richard. And Little Richard's little dick. And a kind of malt liquor gives you a small dick. And then, they don't even think they got to finish it, because then they took off because they knew what happened. And you're right, that guy's sitting there and it's just like that. Again, another side plot, because it starts off with that corny commercial for Anaconda malt liquor, but then, like you said, it's all about getting the drugs off the streets and cleaning up, and about getting these orphans off.
Yeah, you got to get the orphans off the smack, man. Jeez,
especially the orphan that's got that glazed look on his face, like offered, like I'll sell them for you. They're just. Yeah, you get
and those girls like, John White's face. Like, my mom said my daddy's name is Black Dynamite.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good line.
My daddy's name is Black Dynamite too. God. Hush up now. Yeah, I wonder how many illegitimate children Black Dynamite has.
I'm sure he probably buried Wilt Chamberlain. Like that's the kind of vibe I get. He probably beat Wilt Chamberlain. Oh no, wait, no, Wilt slept with the most women. That's what it was. But I'd say he probably beat him in that. But as for how many kids, probably beat like Larry Bird and Sean Kemp put together.
Wait, Larry Bird's got a shitload of kids?
As far as I know, yeah.
Larry Bird of all people?
Larry Bird, man. No. I don't think it's like in the double digits, but I
No, there's no fucking way. It's not showing me anything. Damn it! There's no way. When I look at Larry Bird, I'm not like, yeah, he fucked a lot of women.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the guy, but still, I'm fairly certain I saw in a news report years ago that Larry Bird was linked to having, a number of illegitimate children.
I think you just.
I know. Believe me, I was just as weirded out about it. As I was. This is, McDonald's and Michael Jordan. Off Grimish's head, nothing but net.
Which they don't make McDonald's commercials like that anymore.
No.
Didn't they try to duplicate that though with LeBron and
Dwight Howard? Yeah, it didn't have the same magic.
It seems corny. It seems forced when they do that stuff. It just doesn't have the same magic and feel of what it was like when it was originally made. But no, I love when Black Dynamite when he eventually went to Kung Fu Island and when he fought Dr. Wu. It went that part where it's fight Dr. Wu, and then out of nowhere through the window that Boomerang comes in, cuts his hand out. Ha! He's like, I threw that shit before I walked through the door.
I love that.
Best line in the film. Best line in the film.
Easily. Just the delivery of it too, and the laugh. Yeah. I threw that shit before I walked in the room. And then kicked him in the head. God.
I imagine the cast as they're watching it, seeing him leap and saying that line. I'd have been behind the camera laughing hysterically like that, just the way he says.
Well, even before that, he's sitting there. He's like, "What the fuck? Go look for Black Dynamite," and then he runs into him. You job, motherfucker! While he's fucking taking his eyes out, and then tosses him in there. It's like, you told him to keep an eye out.
Keep an eye on me.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about this Larry Bird thing. I did find an article. Ladies love Larry Legend. The man was generously placed number 8 on Bleacher Report's 25 ugliest players in the NBA. So I'm going to keep reading this because I got to know how many kids he's got.
Well, I'm not claiming I know everything, but I was fairly certain I saw because it was a report he was attached to. Yes, I did see it. I just don't know how many. I'm fairly certain the Rain Man, Sean Kemp, has got a fair amount of children. But, honestly, I'd rather not know their business anyway.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
You know what they should try, though, that I'd like to see? I've seen it, as you have before, too, where sometimes they'll just take a great, 80s movie or some cult movie and they pop it back in the theaters for a couple weekends for fun or whatever. Just see if it makes some money. I think Black Dynamite, I'd love to see it on the big screen. This is a movie I think with such a cult following and people, again, not hearing anybody that's ever hated this movie, just give it a really good theatrical run. Hell, even if, not a full one, because it ain't going to happen, but I'll give it at least a worldwide, give it at least 1,500 screens, something. Because I'm telling you, this movie would make some money. I mean, I just bet you anything this could make some money. Maybe it would spark interest in finally getting.
People don't get it though.
What's that?
They just don't get the film though. That's the problem. It's just.
I wish they would, man.
Well, no. Do you remember it would have to be for one of those one night only, like how Regal Cinemas does. Like they do, satellite screens for 2 nights a week, and that's it. 2 showings a day.
Do you remember, Tyler, when Police Squad first came on TV? It did terrible. People just weren't, Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, or they just didn't get it. They were like, I don't get this movie. Then here comes the Naked Gun movies. People all of a sudden loved it, liked it, and then what did it do? It sparked interest to where they started putting that back on TV, the old episodes. I remember them putting it on TV for people who've never seen it. And then now all of a sudden people are loving it. I was like, why does it take sometimes a certain thing for people to just get it? Because like you said, sometimes people don't. For whatever reason, they just don't get the humor.
I didn't think Police Squad was that good though, because when we went back and revisited it, and this is not as good as the actual movies though.
Well, it was still fun though. But what I meant was those little jokes that were in there. People it was over the head. They weren't understanding, like you said, sight gags, weird things that were said. And yes, it got pushed, up a lot into the movie because obviously they could go a little further in theaters than what they could do on TV. But it made them appreciate what was in the series then. When you go back and watch, okay, I could see that now. But at one point, people they weren't getting it. They just I don't understand this humor. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know. Maybe it's just you got to be, like you said, one of those people that just gets the same.
I think timing's everything too, and the general movie-going audience, and just general audience period, especially when it comes to TV. They're just sort of fickle in a way. Yes, they're easy to please, but they're also just...
No, they're afraid to accept something is unique and creative and fresh as this concept is, to throw it out to an audience that's just going to, the cliche tentpole movie of the holiday season.
Right, and
I'm
I don't
sure
know if I was speaking 100 miles an hour like normal, but Grimbot, I think I at least I thought I said about Police Squad being a TV show. Yeah, I knew that because he said it's a TV show, not a movie. No, I did say it, and if I didn't, maybe it's because I speak 100 miles an hour. But yeah, I know what you mean. Go ahead, keep going. I gotta grab a cookie.
I was going to say this too. We should have specified at the beginning that as of this recording, Black Dynamite is on Netflix. So if you guys have not checked it out, it's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. I mean, I'm glad that I have a physical copy of it because eventually it won't be on Netflix anymore. But check it out. Please check this movie out. It's God. I mean, after
it's an hour and a half. It's not a long movie. So
yeah, and it's like after they go to Kung Fu Island and get through there, most of the crew, Bullhorn gets decapitated.
Yes.
And Cream Corn gets it through his hands, and like him and Black Dynamite reconvene, and it's like, oh, we got to go away. This goes to the top, all the way to the tippy top, the honky house, as they call it. And I mean, that's what they call it, a honky house. So also one of my other favorite parts is Dynamite and Cream Corn are in this helicopter. And he's like, all right, I'm jumping out. Cream Corn, it's up to you. And he hops out, and then Cream Corn's like, son of a bitch, because this guy pulls out a bazooka. And as Black Dynamite's like parachuting down, it has that good shot where it's just like on his face, like he's falling, and then the chopper above gets blown up, and he's like, Cream Corn, no.
And clearly, no, it's like a blue screen shot.
Yeah, and then it cuts to more like stock footage, and like it shows him like shooting him, and then it cuts to the guys on the grass like falling over and everything. But he infiltrates the White House because Richard Nixon is behind all of this, which is amazing to me. And then him and Nixon have a fucking nunchuck fight. That's the climax of this film. He has a fight, a nunchuck martial arts fight with the president, Richard Nixon. He pimp slaps Nixon's wife into a china cabinet, which he comes back and later apologizes for. And she's like, oh yeah, but I tried to shoot you. Yeah, but that's not me. I kind of like how they went back and sort of covered that up because Black Dynamite doesn't really.
Except for the old lady at the beginning when he kicks the door open and smacks, and she goes flying across the room.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was that. But,
man, that was so funny. I remember my dad saw it for the first time. He busted out laughing when he kicks the door and she goes flying all the way back into her room with the dynamite.
Yeah, I like that part too. And then you get like the doom dynamite, because they always did that a lot in these films.
Yeah.
Every time they come in, they do that. When they would have that sound effect, dun, 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 like when they were throwing the bullet, like the revelation sound that they would do every time they would have an object or something. That part, I like when Chicago when remember he was driving the car and he's looking back at Black Dynamite, but you see him making all these turns. He's never looking forward at one point.
That was a good gag.
And then the car blows up before it even hits anything.
Yeah,
it just goes off the cliff and blows up.
That twice. Yeah, that explosion of the car for two different parts.
Yeah. God, like just even talking about this, to me, we're all laughing to ourselves. Go watch this film. It's guaranteed to make you laugh.
And Michael J. White needs to be in more movies, more legit films. Not to say what he's doing is not legit, but I just want to see the guy get a lot more recognition.
I mean, he deserves it. He really does. I mean, he did play Jax in the Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, with the more kind of like the more down to earth version of Mortal Kombat, which I mean, he's an intriguing choice. He looked like Jax. I like to see him play in the G.I. Joe movie set in the 80s. I want to see him play Stalker Stalker would be badass, man, if he played him. Like the Green Beret Stalker. Michael J. White playing that in an 80s style G.I. Joe movie. Man, book that right now. With Dolph Lundgren playing Duke or General Hawk. Oh, man. Stallone playing Flint. I'm telling you, people, this is magic. This is butter.
Well, I would you still want them in their ages now playing those roles?
Why not? Who else can carry on with the charisma that those guys have got right now?
That's The Rock. Chris Pratt, Vin Diesel. If Paul Walker was still around, I would throw him.
Is Kevorkian still in service?
Wow, that's a reference. I haven't heard that name in forever.
Neither have I. just came to mind. You just keep like, good God, man, I'm ready to just induce suicide here.
Man, do you guys remember that guy from Heaven's Gate? That was really creepy. He was the leader of Heaven's Gate. He'd come on TV and his eyes were just like this.
Oh,
Yeah. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but man, he scared the shit out of me as a kid because my parents would just watch the news every night, and that was sort of the main topic for a few nights was just this Heaven's Gate cult that were all gonna commit suicide and ride on the comet because Haley's comet was about to come through again, and they were gonna ride that to. I don't even remember where the fuck they were going to be going. But
Joe, what do you tell your followers they're going to ride?
I have no idea.
Man,
I haven't decided on that yet.
I meant to send this to Joe, but I know that Dollar Tree occasionally has like their little deal of the week, and they get in DVDs and Blu-rays. And I went and didn't find shit, but I made it a point. I don't know if there we go. I made it a point to go by the little freezer section. It's not.
Oh, those are burritos, aren't they?
Yeah, the El Monterey's, man. There we go. The XXL burritos, just for you. I went and paid. No, I didn't buy any for myself, but I went to pay my respects and give my blessings. Yeah.
They're delicious. There you go. I guess that's the altar you go to is the altar of the Dollar Tree.
If Joe's church was serving communion, like what would you serve as like instead of bread and like grape juice? Like would you serve like Kool-Aid and
I well, the thing is, like I said, all I usually drink is just water. Now, once in a while, milk, but on occasion, I'll have some red Kool-Aid, which I enjoy.
Kool-Aid.
So they could have a little bit of red Kool-Aid. And as for the host, I like to fry my own bread. Now, it's not really real bread. It's what you do is you just take flour, you put it in a little cup, just add a little water, and then mix it up, and then you can put a little garlic salt in there, and then just get a pan full of butter, and then just fry that. And it can be like, you can flatten it to like little patties, and you can have your own little fried bread. So, fried butter bread with some garlic salt.
Imagine Joe's like passing this down the pews to all, is it cherry Kool-Aid? Is it strawberry Kool-Aid?
Cherry
Kool-Aid and fried bread. Pass it down the pews, and and Joe's up there with the mic asking for donations and everything like that. And I mean, it just I would love to see like Joe's like face photoshopped in some like like crazy evangelist or something like that. A week in Joe's town, because it's just Joe. I just feel like there's so much material just based on the stories you've shared and the cult following that you have. That like there's just
I think there needs to be like I could see Joe in the Black Dynamite universe.
I could too. He's like a buddy of Black's on the street, and like Black always goes to got to go talk to Amato down at the diner, and Joe's back there frying up some bread and serving Kool-Aid at his diner there, and he's got the mask on and everything like that. I heard word on the street he's a Black Dynamite, They're poisoning the Kool-Aid. The kids are getting poisoned with Kool-Aid.
And then he's like, "Hey Joe, why you always wear that mask?" And then it flashes back to Joe being back at Vietnam, and there was some sort of like
napalm explosion in his face,
yeah,
or an explosion of like burning hot red Kool-Aid. Just
Yep, that would be an origin story for me. What's funny, real quick, when you're doing that, I like when he's talking about the kid in Vietnam, and he was like, as he laid there,
Chinese eyes.
It's like the description. He's saying he's laying there flat on his face as he looked at me and said something, and then he starts talking. He's like, I don't know, it sounds like he's talking some cartoon shit or something. It's like, oh my God, this movie had too many things.
Didn't he say something too about like rice patties? Was he like in reference to his legs or something?
He made a lot of.
I remember there was something like that. Yeah. But there's so much going on in his monologues that Michael gives in these films. Like he says he packs in so much in one little quip or speech. You're like, you have to go back and watch it multiple times to catch every single little remark that he makes. It's and I know he like worked on the screenplay and everything too. So I'd love to know like how much comes from just his mind along with his his partners on this.
And that's why I would suggest, Tyler, since you do have the DVD, watch the commentary. I think there's a commentary on there. I need to actually do that myself. I need to, but I'm sure they'll explain all of it. I feel like, from what I read, it seems like a very packed commentary. There's not much dead air, and they definitely talk about the production and how everything came to pass. Because I know, just even reading here on the Wikipedia, that he came up with the idea around 2006 while he was listening to James Brown's Superbad. And he also had a lot of parties where he showed off all the other blaxploitation films from the era. So he was already just super enthralled with all this stuff and loved it to begin with. And supposedly that blue costume that he's wearing at the end from the White House is one that he used to wear at these parties. So it's basically just him and some buddies. They come up with the money and get it financed, and they just went and shot it. The budget, I think it says here, was $2.9 million, which that's
dirt cheap.
That's a tiny budget for something like this, especially being shot on film, because this is also at a point too where we're shifting to digital. So maybe this was the time period where maybe shooting on film was still cheaper. I don't know. Isn't it weird how that happens? It's like it's so accessible, and then they kind of move on to something else, and then the price of this skyrockets. I hate that. It's like eBay and people and their fucking figures.
Prices on classic figures.
Yeah, charging out the ass. God damn.
$80 for a Triclops.
Yeah, loose. No, hey, yeah, $85 for a Triclops, and that's loose. Now, if you want to get one in the package, well over $100. Bums me. It bums me out, man. I hate that.
Yeah, I didn't know that was that much.
No, it sucks, Joe. It's good that you got a good majority of those guys, and you haven't missed out on too much.
Yeah. Like I said, I got the early stuff, just didn't get the later, but no big deal. I can always get that some time down the line.
By the way, I took Joe's advice and tried to get one of those Transformers from
I was going to bring that up.
Yes, and I got screwed.
Did you?
Yes. It turns out the guy who I checked his feedback, it said it was positive. Well, I found out because I got like notification it had been shipped out and said it would be in the beginning of December. Well, I never got notification that it even arrived. I went and double checked. It arrived in California at somebody else's address. And it turns out a bunch of other customers all had the same problem. This guy was getting their money and sending him a package to another random address in the States.
Did you at least, though, like I said, with buyer protection on eBay, they'll get your money back. Did you get your money back?
I have not got my money back, and the guy's gone.
I mean, damn. I thought they could still open a claim, though. I thought that's how you could do it.
Well, but I said it was delivered in October, which was really weird considering I purchased it in October to think that it was going to arrive all the way from China that fast. And I never got notification saying it had arrived. So that's why it was just so odd. So I went to go see if I could, and I saw that the seller was gone and that 6 or 8 other buyers within the last couple of months all suffered the same problem.
Well, I would just suggest if you can contact them and even call sometimes eBay. They have a 1-800 number they'll give you because, like I said, the majority of things I have gotten from China, they've all arrived. But there was a case where one thing didn't arrive, and when it didn't, I opened up a claim and they got me my money right back. Like hell, what was that one thing? I thought it was around me. I guess I don't have it by me, but yeah.
I like how Joe is like he'll bring up some sort of random figure that he ordered, and somehow it's just like right there at him.
Yeah, no matter what.
It's like he plans it this way.
He was anticipating this conversation.
No, really, it's just half the time the stuff is. But wait, hold on.
He's like chasing it around the room or something like that.
It was this. It was a while back. I got this one Batman statue. It was a black and white. And it just didn't have the special box or anything. And I got this from, China. I just knew there was one of the ones from China that was around me. Got this, so got that, and that was a good deal compared to getting it in the box and all the expensive prices. Hey, I want to show one quick thing, not super special, but I went back to Hot Topic, and I had like some Hot Topic cash, like about $5 worth, and I was able to get a keychain that was blind bagged in a bag. I was going to say blind bag in a box, but it was blind bag. I got it for $2, and all I did was I grabbed it because I was like, man, I hope I get this particular one. So I grabbed the first one, and then I grabbed another one, and I was like, this feels heavier. And by looking at the back of the package, I was like, he's got to be the heaviest one. And you couldn't feel because it was blocked with cardboard. I actually got Sackhead Jason. That's all I wanted. Hitting there, I was like, hot damn! So I got a Sackhead Jason, and it was the heaviest one. So if you go to Hot Topic
Joe,
anywhere,
how many phone numbers did you get while you were there?
I'm telling you, man, you go talk to them girls over at Hot Topic. They're some of the nicest people. It's just, I don't think half the time when you go to stores, people don't like interacting with anybody. It's usually just like, okay, here you go. All right, have a nice day. Or don't even say that and take your stuff and leave. But interacting with people, I think they're shocked because normally most people that work at stores probably just used to oh, what am I doing typing? They barely fucking type. I'm sorry, texting. They don't do actual talking face to face. When you talk face to face, boy, you can really get some stuff. I mean, interesting talks. I mean, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
No, Joe, I don't know what you mean. You care to elaborate further?
I'm telling you, you go to some of these places and you talk, you'd be surprised what happens in return. So
all they ever want to do is force their deals on you. Hey, by the way, you get bombarded with every
not really.
Hey, by the way, our T-shirts are buy two get one free.
Every time if you go to Hot Topic, they're not asking how you doing. Can we help you? It's like, hey, by the way, T-shirts, keychains, guitar picks.
I go in there and I'm somebody, as you know, I just love talking. Tyler, hell, you love talking too. But when I go in there, I immediately ask for something half the time before they can say how you doing or welcome to Hot Topic. And then when I do that, I start expanding on it. Whether, I'm talking like, yeah, well, see, I make action figures for a living. I do these customs. I do this. And then I start talking about other things. Oh, you like this? And then it just, boom, spawns into conversation. So I've never had them say, here, you can buy 2 T-shirts and get one free. I've never had any of these experiences.
I think this is supposed to be one of your fronts, Joe. Like, this is one of your fronts for the syndicate that you run as well. So they're all aware of, like, mob boss Amato comes in with his scarf around his neck like an Italian, drug dealer. Just walks around, and they're all super nice because they know who you are. Like, they all like tap each other on the nose. Here he comes.
Well, I just figured when he's having these conversations with him, I imagine just it cuts 10 minutes later, and he's making out with one of the employees in the dressing rooms.
I'm just saying, just the way you can engage in conversations with people face to face, it's pretty good. That's all I'm saying. Just don't do the typical just walk in, get your stuff, leave. Just sometimes you just engage, give a little eye contact. You'd be surprised. People do want to talk at times. I think sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean that's happened to me before too. At Hot Topic, I would go in and there would be a girl in there, and she would hit me with the deals and everything, but I would be looking at something. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah, this and this." I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I can see how conversations would ebb and flow like that. Yeah,
that don't happen to me in there.
Well,
what's wrong with me?
That's because Joe and I are good-looking dudes, and you come in there, bull in China shop, knocking shit over with your big ass arms and everything, and they're like, "Great, now I'm gonna have to clean this up."
So I'm being discriminated against because of my big size. I'm being discriminated against.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have you know, I'll be taking it to the masses. I want to. You guys have to give like a public apology and everything, and I'll have like a lawsuit against like Hot Topic and everything.
No, I'll just be like, look at the guy.
You know what I think? A lot of times when I see where when you go into places, sometimes I think people always unfortunately want to expect the worst out of everybody. And sometimes people just don't like talking in general, maybe just engage in any conversation. It just maybe makes them feel uncomfortable. You go in some place, they don't like looking at you in the eyes. And even customers don't even like talking to people. Like, hell, I see customers half time, they go up, they put something up there to buy. And as they're buying the stuff, they're texting or they're on the phone. They're not even acknowledging the person behind the counter. I don't know. There's just maybe something that's been created between customers and just the customers and the employees that just make people not want to talk to each other.
Well, here I'll give you a good employee customer interaction. I actually went to a pawn shop yesterday, and I go in there. I'm like, I want to look around at the Blu-rays, see if I can find anything really cheap. And there's this guy over there at the CDs. There's a bunch of CDs in the floor. I was like, all right. And I guess I hope this guy works there. I really do. He didn't have like a name tag. They don't really wear name tags or anything at this pawn shop. CDs are on the floor, and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm good. How are you?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm organizing all these CDs. I got all the country ones up here, and then I got all my mixed shit down here. Like your rap and everything. Trying to get all the Sheryl Crows together." I was like, "All right." And he's like, you know who Sheryl Crow was married to? I was like, Lance Armstrong. And he was like, no, man, Kid Rock. And I was like, well, that's unfortunate. And then he was like, yeah, man, I love to pound the meat off her bones. I was like, what? I just want to look at the fucking. I want to look at the movies, man. That's all I want to do. I want to look at the movies.
Guy can't let you leave the store without telling you who he wants to bang in the country world.
Well, then he picks up another CD. He's like, hey, you know who this is? And it was Selena. You remember the singer? She got shot by her man. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, you remember her, right? And I was like, yeah, she's the she. I was like, well, I was like, that, you know, it was back in the 90s. She got shot and everything. He's like, yeah, well, I was around then. I was like, yeah, so was I. Like, I don't know what this guy was on. But yeah, he went into that. And eventually he just kind of left me alone. But I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, just. So, Joe, that is why I don't try to talk to employees. That's why I'm glad self-checkouts exist. And I can just go through there, buy my shit. I don't have to talk to anybody. But if I'm in that situation where I have to, then I know how to. I'll look them in the eye. We'll talk. But
I do understand. There's certain places, at some of those flea markets, I've gotten that a lot when I would go looking for He-Man figures. And when I'd go looking for He-Man figures, and I'd go to each little section that might have something, I always get a guy say, no, I don't have any He-Man figures, but I have some of these Tonka trucks and some of these little building figures. And I was like, what's a building figure? And there's some, like, I don't know if it's something called Bob or whatever, but
Bob the Builder?
Then maybe that's it. But they're always showing me Tonka trucks. I was like, no, I was looking for He-Man figures. Oh, okay. Well, just remember, I got some of these stuff over here if you want. I was like, okay. It's like, it has nothing to do with it. I even had a guy trying to sell me hammers and screwdrivers when I said, I'm looking for He-Man figures. And he's telling me about screwdrivers and hammers. I'm like, God, what are you not hearing? So you're right. You just want to get away. It's like, okay, this guy is never going to understand what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like an alien when I go into these places. That's why it's rare when one thing shows up. I'm like, oh my God, where did this mysterious piece come from? Because there's never anything at those flea markets.
Yeah, well, flea markets for us have been just dry for years. Yeah. I haven't found anything, but it is funny when I would look for video games. And I would ask people for video games. It was like, oh, them Nintendo tapes. I don't know why they would call NES games tapes. I never understood that. I still don't. Like, you don't rewind them, you don't fast forward them, you just put them into your game console and play them. They're not a fucking tape. There's no tape in there.
Well, for some of them that are that old, it might remind them of 8-track tapes that
I guess
put in. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's like Atari tapes. They used to call Atari tapes, not cartridges or games. I'd always hear the Atari tapes. It's like, you know, there's not Atari tapes, these are game cartridges. But yeah,
Nintendo. I'm like, what?
Nintendo. Didn't heard that one. But no, hey, I was gonna say at least something final thing. If you haven't seen Black Dynamite, God damn it, you gotta watch it. Like he just said, it's on Netflix. See it there. But this movie is like, it's just one of the best movies you could ever watch. This one for me, out of 5 stars, I give 5 stars. There's nothing wrong with this movie at all. Perfection.
Soundtrack's awesome. If you're into like the funky shit, yes. All right, Tyler, star rating.
5 out of 5, man.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with this film.
Same here. 5 out of 5. Check it out on Netflix. If you miss your opportunity to watch it on Netflix, please find a way to track down a DVD or a Blu-ray of this. It needs to be in your collection.
Be cool if we got to meet Michael J. Rawleycon.
Hey, you never know. God, that would be incredible. Oh, I don't even know what I would say to him or what I would. I am wearing my Black Dynamite shirt, by the way.
Badass.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Where did you get that?
They kind of there for a bit. They sort of had like official merchandise that was on some random website, and I got it. Have you guys seen any of the post? Not the actual like theatrical poster, but some of the other poster artwork they came up with is fantastic. Looks like a straight out of the 70s.
Does it?
Well, anyway.
Another pop culture thing that should have some action figures. Who wouldn't want some Black Dynamite figures and cream corn?
I would buy them all. Make it happen. Somebody make it happen, please. Yeah. And I hope
like
that
NECA needs to do that.
Yeah. God.
Now, there's a reason for NECA to do the variants. You could do all the various outfits that Black Dynamite wore in the film.
That would be cool.
You know? I mean, that would be like, okay, that makes sense because they're very distinct. So, yeah.
Oh, and we did leave out the part too that his buddy from the war, who's actually with the police force, is the one that set up his brother getting killed.
O'Leary? Yeah.
what did he call it? When it's like Dynamite, he pretends to get shot and he's like laying there and then he shoots him and then he's like, oh yeah, the old
candle or God, I know what you're talking about. I cannot remember the exact
birthday candle trick. What was it? Birthday candle trick?
It was the birthday candle trick. And then before then, when he's practicing his kung fu, and they show up and he sneaks around and like puts the bear in there, and they think that's him. And he's like, oh, there he goes again. That's how he saved my ass in Nam. God, love it.
There's too many parts, like I said. Just when you think, another thing, because there's probably still a bunch of stuff we're missing. You guys just don't know, but yeah, I love that when he fakes that heart attack or getting shot or whatever, throws him off guard and shoots him. It's like, that's a damn genius move, actually. Could you picture if you are a criminal, you get ready to shoot somebody, they act like they're shot, and you're like, what the hell just happened? Then boom, they pull out, they're going to shoot you. That's a good move. That's actually a clever ass move, to be honest.
Joe, you wouldn't fall for that. You don't seem like the kind of guy that would fall for that. You wouldn't fall for a trick like that, would you?
Sure. Yeah, maybe I would. I don't know. That was.
I feel like Joe's still like, because he keeps glancing off to the side. I think he just keeps thinking about those cookies.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but kind of. Yes. Because they're going to be done by tonight's episode of Fans of Power. Because I have milk downstairs.
Chocolate smear stains all over the Modulite mask.
That's right. You're going to see chocolate and just milk dripping. It's just going to be all residue. I'm going to leave it. Yeah, the chocolate chip cookies will be done first. Then tomorrow I'll finish the snickerdoodles. Then the other things, I'll finish those too. I just don't know what the hell they are. Like I said, don't have Emily get pissed at me.
I'll ask her. I'll make sure to ask her. I'll have an answer for you.
I'm not saying they're bad. I just don't know what I'm eating.
Was it chocolate butter cookies?
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, because she said she made chocolate butter cookies. What's the thought? I'd never heard of that before.
I don't know. She just finds all these recipes and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna make this.
It's like don't know the taste.
I'll have to try them myself because I haven't eaten.
It's still good. It's just I can't.
That's like Joe's way though, kind of just being like, it's not that good.
Yeah.
No, it's like I just can't describe it. I'm eating them though, so don't have her thinking I want to eat.
Oh, I know it, dude.
You'll definitely eat them. We know you'll do that.
Well, Joe is he's also gonna mail me a bottle of that hot sauce that he keeps talking about.
Oh.
And
no.
Well, hey, wait. The Toasty Pony has joined us live in the chat room. Please, there you go, Joe. Go ahead and throw that out there. I don't know how long she's been listening, but ask her Emily, what those cookies are.
I don't know how long you've been here, but first I want to tell you that all these cookies, thank you so much, are great. I ate a bunch of the chocolate chip already live. I had one of the snickerdoodles, and those are good too. I had one of these. I just don't know what I'm eating. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't understand the taste. I'll still finish them, but what the hell are these? And what kind of flavor is it? So I just don't know. But they're not bad, so don't get mad at me. But I love those chocolate chips. the chocolate chips from them cookies. They almost seem like there's a salt taste. It's real good.
I'm telling you, man, that's my ass residue.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, well, it's good salty ass residue, then. But just to let you know, whatever you did to those chocolate chip cookies, it has a unique taste. I love it, and I love the snickerdoodles. I just don't know these black swirly things. I don't know what it is. But if you could let me know what they are, thanks a lot. And yes, I'm gonna tomorrow. I'm gonna probably send it out or Tuesday. I'm gonna send Nathan and Emily a bottle of a hot sauce I like. Just to let you know, it's not the hottest hot sauce in the world, so I'm not claiming, hey, I'm sending them to something that's going to kill them. But I just want to see them both live, have a little dab of that, like on a cracker or a Dorito or something.
On a cracker? Why the fuck would I put hot sauce on a cracker?
I don't know. I thought it would help you in case it would be too hot, like maybe the cracker would... Okay, well, if you're going to go all out, put it on something. I want to see you and Emily both do it live and see if it bugs you a lot.
I'll do it on the episode of Beyond Retro Arcade because you're always in the chat for that. Emily says they're chocolate spritz cookies. It's similar to sugar cookie.
All right, chocolate spritz cookie similar to a sugar cookie. Thank you. I just couldn't taste the chocolate. But no, you're not going to do that on the Retro Arcade. You got to do this on Beyond Retro, or you got to be on Fans of Power. You and Emily got to do that. We got to see this to a bigger mass audience.
All right. All right. Well, that depends on like her work schedule, and if they still have her working Sundays. She's working right now, so we'll see.
Would she be home by 9 o'clock at night on Sundays?
Maybe depends. Who knows?
All right. Well, if she is next week, then we'll see you guys doing it next week. All
right. Yeah, I'll put it on a cracker. That's
you put on a Dorito.
Weird, Joe. I don't know. Like, I'll have to find something good to put the hot sauce on. Maybe we can get like some boneless buffalo wings with no sauce on them, and I'll put the hot sauce on that or something.
Okay. All right. There you go.
There we go.
All right.
All right. 5 stars all around. Everyone check it
Yes.
out. It's on Netflix. Any other final thoughts on Black Dynamite or anything else before we wrap this up?
I can't think of nothing. It was perfection.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to add to it that we either hadn't already said or someone hasn't already said already. It's just the film gets our validation. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, we don't like to recommend crap or just anything. Like, the films we talk about are legitimately good stuff. And if you think they're bad, then make sure you drink Joe's Kool-Aid, and
You can shove it up your ass and go straight to hell.
Yeah, you can do that too. In any order you want. You can go to hell first, then shove it up your ass, and shove it up on your way to hell. It's interchangeable. It really is. So.
Oh man, this is a short episode. It's been one of the shortest ones we've done in a while, I feel like. No one's gonna. I was gonna say, I'm like, no one's gonna say anything. I'm just gonna sit here. I'll just talk to myself the rest of the show.
No, it's been an hour and 17 minutes at least. That's still a pretty good episode.
I mean, we spent a lot of talking about Joe's eating cookies and things like that, and his bargains at Hot Topic. And
you know what I've noticed? Sometimes when there's a movie, it seems like we enjoy a whole lot. And it's so good, we could just run through every part of it so quickly you just miss stuff. But I
feel
happens. I think you just enjoy it too much. I don't know.
Well, we did spend a lot. Actually, we spent most of it. If aside from like the brief veer-offs, we spent most of the time actually talking about the film instead of talking about me bitching about the state of modern films or something moronic that I have repeated over and over
That's
again.
Half the time. You're right.
That's probably why it is so short.
Oh,
by the way, I hate Chris Pratt. Yeah, we had never heard that before. So
see. No, it's true. Half the time it might be like 20 minutes to 40 minutes of a crazy rant, and we didn't really do that. So yeah, no, I think it still went good.
The drunk notes help. The drunk notes came through again.
They did.
Yeah.
I'll just have to.
So how you want to wrap us up, Nathan?
Well, I guess thank you guys that popped in the chat live. It's always a pleasure having you guys here every week. And to those of you that catch us after the fact, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified when we go live or when new videos are posted, especially with Beyond Retro Arcade. Did quite a bit of that this week. Joe has disappeared. He's got to go.
I just had to set my Jason up.
He's got to get some milk or something. But check out the links down below. Hit Joe up for a custom, buy his t-shirts. Check out Fans of Power, the He-Man and the Master Universe podcast, hosted by Joe Amato and Tyler Baker. And I want to suggest again to you guys that listen to us on Podbean or through iTunes, come over to YouTube. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on Black Dynamite. And if you hated it, that's what I want to hear from. If you didn't like Black Dynamite, let us know, and let us know why. Because I can't wrap my head around someone not liking this film.
Well, that way we know who you are too. We know how to,
yeah, and then
single you out and come after you.
We'll go through our connections with the FBI because I've been talking to them because they're like, hey, you know that Amato? You said you have his fingerprints. I'm like, I do, but he's
and
a
his
good
address.
Friend. Yeah, they're playing good cop, bad cop with me right now. So, see, that's the thing. It might not be Joe's real address. It could be someone else's.
We don't even know if we're actually talking to the real Amato right now. It could be,
exactly.
It was Kennedy. It was Kennedy all along.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Someone I think commented on it was like, I don't know if this is real or not. I'm like, how do you know that's not my face?
And that was our buddy. Wasn't that our good buddy right here, Grimbot, that did that photoshopping?
Yes.
That was a good one.
I love it that you guys just take the time out of your lives to Photoshop us and various things that either we discuss or something pops into your head. And you guys just run with it. It's fantastic. I love it. Joe's reaching for something else. Like, I really want to know, like, what Joe has just got there. Is it just a bunch of figures just, like, laying scattered all over the floor that he's just run out of space and the shelves in there?
Well, no, there's shelves, but there was a couple things I had random towards the floor, but it's not like they're laying over. It's just they're kind of for when I rearrange or reorganize. So yeah, I was in a process of moving some stuff around. So yeah, it's a little bit of a mess, not much, but a little bit, slightly.
What was that Batman statue that you had? Because it wasn't showing up too well. Pull that up again because I feel like I've seen that before.
It's a Batman Black and White series, designed by Alex Ross. And this was it was just a black and white style.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, no, that's cool. I actually
that's very cool.
I have a statue similar to that, but he's like crouching down. It came with Arkham City. I think it was like one of those collector's edition things. Walmart had it marked down, and I was like, "Holy shit! All right." I think I gave the game to someone else. I'm like, "I'm keeping the statue."
Yeah, 2007, a little dusty, but it happens. Also got did want to show one thing.
Oh yeah, this too.
My sister got me this for Christmas, a really cool Ultimate Warrior glass. Like, this is awesome. Like,
they use that a lot in a lot of the promo shots of Warrior.
Yes.
I remember that, yeah, because that's also the shot they use, I think, for the cover of WrestleMania Challenge on Nintendo.
Yeah, that the WrestleMania Challenge game that they just released, the little console. He's taken over where Hulk Hogan was. Even on the video game screen, the title screen has been changed from Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior.
I saw that when I was in Dollar General. They want $20 for that. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool from that aspect, but that game is fucking trash. I didn't play it. I haven't played it on arcade yet.
It never was that great, but yeah, the Ultimate Warrior doesn't have his music in it. I don't think he has a special moves, and the Mountie has been replaced by Razor Ramon.
Yeah, which that's for the best. The Mountie sucks.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I wondered. That was weird. I was like, what the hell? Why did they get rid of Hulk Hogan? I mean, I love the Ultimate Warrior, but I was like, why did they take Hogan off of it?
We're still in the midst of that whole, like, he's kind of just cast aside from his racial tirade, or where they recorded him.
Gotcha.
And that's the thing too. Like, guys, if you're famous, be careful what you say to people. You don't know who's recording, or be an idiot like us and just say dumb shit on here all the time. People.
That's right. Otherwise, I'd be letting loose right now. But I'm calm.
But I mean, Tyler and I are too stupid and ugly to be on YouTube. So there we go.
Yes, we are. According to some anonymous person who just said, "Shut up."
Yeah, we don't know who that is. Yeah. I don't know if that's someone that I know that's checked out the show and is just being silly or what. But
probably.
I'll just take it for what it is, and I'll joke around with it.
All right. Well, tell everybody about liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff.
I already did, Joe.
Did you? God damn, I'm bad. Was that when I was walking over there, or is it just when?
Yeah, that's when you were like doing whatever the fuck you were doing. I was telling people to subscribe and leave a comment and all that stuff.
All right.
Tyler's sleepy.
God, I hate it. I don't like feeling like that. I really don't. It's not fun feeling like this early in the day.
Wake the fuck up, man.
I'm trying to here.
Anyway, with that. Until then, we will see you in the future to talk about the past. Thanks again, everybody.